and second by Tiffany. Okay, the agenda is approved. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the minutes for the October meetings, for both the budget meeting and the regular meeting. I did have one item in there with the budget meeting about the fourth line up from the bottom. It says not enough money collected throughout the bond terms to pay off the debt. I think that should have been to service the debts. I don't think we planned on paying them off.
Instead of maybe just take the word off out.
To pay the debt, just pay the debt, maybe, just take off out of that, maybe, and
Well,
just say
to
pay.
serve,
Would someone want to put that in a motion, please?
calling for a motion to make the changes in the,
I'll make a motion to remove the word off
Oh, there.
from the sentence.
okay, we have a motion to remove the word off from the
I'll second it.
collected throughout the bond term to pay the debts. And second by
Brent.
Brent. Voice vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passed. Do we have
I'll make a motion to approve the October 4th regular minutes and the budget meeting minutes as amended.
We have, we have a motion by Councilman Ganser to approve the minutes.
I second
Second by
it. Brent.
Brent. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passed. Financial reports. You have all of them in front of you.
Yeah, so there was some revisions that came in today. You guys will see that on that extra piece that I had out in front of you there. Some traditional ones, along with the attorney's bill for the last 3 months that he hasn't put in. Just got that today. And then Kelsey's as well for the lagoon, which we can hopefully hear more about later. Just kind of wanting to make note to your interest that was paid at United Community Bank for the loan, as well as Burlington Electric. They completed the lights in the garage for the PD. That's kind of what I wanted to notate about the claims. I do have them here if you'd want to look at any individual ones. Also on that attorney bill, I did want to notate that there was some services. We reached out to him regarding some things for the park. And so I think with that, if the city would agree to pay that, it's like $52.50, I think, on attorney side for the park. If the city would pay that, then the park district possibly could just pay the city back. He said, Andrew said that he couldn't invoice the park separately because he can't, he's not able to take the work. He's answered our emails, and so anytime we contact him, we do get charged. And so that's what he's done. He's answered communications, and so he's charged for services. There was three emails. The first one was a motion off the meeting you guys made back in, I believe, September to move forward with that civil. So I had emailed him and then Terry had emailed him twice after. And so there was communication there. I just want to make sure that he's covered for his services. So whether if the city covers it, I'd imagine the park district then could then potentially pay the city unless. Right. If you guys are good with that, if you think of a different solution on that, he was also good with not getting paid for it. But I believe if he, did provide input, he should be paid for his service or time. That's just my personal view. So,
And that's not in the bills?
there's not an extra claim for it. It's an extra $52.50, I believe.
But you just said he's okay with not getting paid it?
Well, that's what he potentially said, yes.
I'll make a motion to pay him $52.50 or whatever that is.
Okay. It is an extra $52.50 on top of what's listed
Yep.
here as your revised
That's
bills.
fine.
I'll second it.
You want to call a vote on that, Chuck?
I have one thing here, Northwest Tire for an oil change. Don't you guys do that yourselves?
That's for our PD cars.
Okay, we can't do that. No, that's not under PD.
They were both for the PD cars, yep,
Okay,
the squad units.
okay. So
Kevin
we
takes-
don't, we don't do that ourselves?
No, Kevin takes all the police cars into
Okay.
Northwest. Yep. Yep.
Okay. We have a motion to approve the,
No, my motion is just to add the $50 to the
52.
bills.
okay.
Right.
We motion to have the 52.50 for the park paid for by the city. We have a motions by Steve. Was there a second?
I did.
Second by Twyla. All in favor?
Aye.
I
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. We have a motion to approve the financials.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
Approve the claims, okay.
Motion by Steve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion by Steve, a second by Jenny. Voice vote, all in favor?
I
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
So yeah, and then on top of that, you had your payroll totals and your financial reports, income statements for the month, and then budget versus income and expenses. Cenex was going to be discontinuing gas cards at the end of the year. So Karma has agreed to invoice us monthly going forward, so we can keep our business local. I know a lot of the times the squad cars and the guys like just filling up down there. And in case there would be an emergency, they can always use the credit card.
They're just not taking credit cards down there?
They're not going to be using, we have separate Cenex cards right now. So they can just go, Cenex Fleet Services bills us separately, but Karma's agreed to individually invoice us. Yeah. Right.
Can we go to like a different brand, like Wix or something like that? Different company that does fuel fleet services? Would have credit cards still?
town that does has them, so we have for the county. It's a Exxon Mobil card through Don that does.
Yeah. I don't think that's a bad idea. Just staying with.
So you're just gonna charge down here at Karma, right?
Mhm.
And you get an invoice at the end of the month.
Yeah, they agreed to do that.
Sounds good.
Otherwise, we do have other resources to use for credit card. I mean, Kevin's got everybody up and going with a card in the PD and the guys can use it.
Well, what's easier for you? An invoice or a card?
I prefer invoicing.
Let's give it a whirl.
If it don't work out, we can always check something new. We wanted to make sure we were covered at the end of December when, oh geez, now we can't use the Cenex card. So that's
Well, yeah.
something, yep.
You can get any credit card and
Yep.
just,
I think as long as you're getting the receipts from the guys every time they turn them into you and you match them with the invoice, there shouldn't be a problem.
Right.
And there's no credit card fees or anything.
Yeah.
Fun discussion, if you guys just want to roll right along with that.
Yep. What do you have?
Okay, so in October, really got time to study, I guess, and look deeper into the funds. There's a worksheet here that shows you. Where's my worksheet?
I'm sorry, did we vote on the motion to pay the rest of the payroll?
The claims, yep, sorry.
Just with the
If you
bills?
wanted a motion to approve the financials.
We did that.
Steve made the motion.
To pay the bills.
To pay the
But not
bills.
the financial
Yeah.
statements.
Good point, Twyla.
Sorry.
No, that's awesome, good point.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said the financial report.
No, you did say bills,
You did?
Yes.
Really? All right, well, then we would, what do we want to approve now?
finances.
We have a motion to approve the financial report.
I'll make a motion to approve the payroll for 55,923.96 and the financial reports.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second by Tiffany. Voice vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes.
Chuck, I just had one quick thing. I did a little just report research again today, and I don't know, we're gonna have some overages, and I don't know if our budget sheets were just set up improperly, but there's gonna be like an overage just in Indy PERS, the city contribution of close to $16,000, and then FICA and Medicare close to another $15,000. And then health insurance, like that's not even on here. I just wanted to make a statement that it's like $31,000 extra that we'll have, or else the budget reports are wrong. And then another thing is that the Public Works Department is running extremely close to going over budget, and there's still 2 full months left. So if we can just, I don't know if they can do comp time for overtime or if they're banked out. Just maybe watch it. That's all I had.
Thanks. So yeah, along with your funds then, did a breakout sheet to show you guys better what that looks like. If you want to look at this worksheet, the highlighted worksheet. There is a insurance reserve fund, which used to exist on a levy level, but that was discontinued to be able to levy for in 2016. So right now, you have a balance in that account. I would imagine you could simply transfer that balance into your general fund and alleviate that fund itself because it really doesn't exist. There's a police bond fund. And after talking with the Garrison City Auditor, who also has a police department, and she's the North Dakota League of Cities president, she said that they had established a police bond fund for people that are coming to court to hold their bonds, and then when it's when they're done with their hearing and whatnot, then the money is distributed back out. So right now you have a holding balance of 1660 in that fund, which could generally or potentially go back into the general fund. Your water meter replacement fund, there's a line item in your water fund. So it would make sense to me to see that actually just in your water fund instead of having a meter replacement separately. And then your sidewalk project, I started a fund per your motion, but we didn't start with any money. And of course, we haven't finished that project yet. But potentially, we're going to need to know what is actually going to fund that project. Is it city sales? Is it, coming out of your general? Potentially, where you think would be the best place to fund that project?
Those are
that
the
make
four
sense?
Those are the ones you want to talk about?
Yeah, does that make sense? Okay.
Okay, yeah, I got some stuff. I guess, okay, you said the insurance reserve, it's not there anymore?
You can't levy for it.
Okay,
It
so
exists
that's,
here in Surrey.
okay, then I guess I would recommend that we just get rid of that. Can you
So-
explain that police bonds again?
Yeah, to like make a transfer from the insurance reserve to general and then close that fund here in Surrey.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
yeah, that's just what I would do.
And the police bond fund, it's actually a fund set up. If someone is coming into court, they have to pay a bond to get out of jail, right?
Yeah,
And so this would be a holding account type thing until their hearing was resolved.
so they're giving us money?
We have money sitting in there, right?
You have to
And so,
Post bond.
Yeah.
yeah,
get
if
out of
someone
jail,
posts bond,
So, and what do we do with that money? If someone posts bond?
hold it
if
till
someone
the
would
court-
post a
So
bond,
we include that into the 1,600, so it's now 2,100 or whatever?
you wouldn't want any money sitting really in that account.
Probably not, but
Right.
I
But it
guess,
exists.
why would there be $1,600 in there now, I guess? Would you
It's-
know it all, Kevin?
No, it was prior.
But if somebody posts bond and they don't show up for court, they don't get their money back. So the
Right.
money has to stay somewhere.
But it would go into your general
Do you
police
have to hold it
account.
for so long?
Yeah, but I think you're getting it muddy waters there myself, but that's just me.
So you could compare it to like that
Not too smart.
curb and gutter deposit thing that we do for building permits. Like we just hold their money until we see that the project is done correctly and then we reimburse it to them. This
Right.
is the same thing. If they forfeit their bond, that's why there would be a balance in this account.
They forfeited a bond
Like if
at
they
one
didn't
time.
show up to
Correct,
court.
but I just think we need to, I think the bond fund should probably be there as long, and we can transfer it out, but I do think it needs to go into something. And then I think we need a written explanation as far as why we're transferring it out. So in 6 months or a year, when the guy comes and says, I want my money, but we have no idea what we did with it. That's my only concern.
Yep, I agree with that. I think that what Anita's trying to do is simplify the funds. I think there was funds created in the last few years here that never existed before.
I would agree with that.
So the police bonds could just fall under the police department and there could be an in and an out right there. Police bonds, I agree. That one could stay the same.
I like having the fund, but just suggesting that this balance sitting here that was
Goes away.
from prior that have been forfeited.
Yep, I would agree with that. I think it should go away, but just make a notation when you send it off into, I don't know,
When it
into
was-
our general fund, I
General
guess.
fund,
Then
yep.
How
When
long
was
should
set
it
up,
sit
was
there?
it set up to where it would go? At that
It goes
time?
into a separate holding fund.
No, I mean, after so long it sat there in this fund.
It would
Was-
it
when
would just
that
go
fund
into,
was Set up, was it at that time determined where that money would go if it was forfeited?
it may have been.
So do we have to look back and see if that was?
You wouldn't
actually-
have to. If you say right now you want all that money just to go into like the police budget, you could do that.
The way Diane said it from Garrison is if it is forfeited and it's transferred into the city account under fines, it would be transferred back into your general police account under the fines line instead of actually sitting in this separate holding account. So it would
Makes
just,
sense.
it would simplify things.
Your bond is just there till you show up for court. So it's
Correct.
not going to be something that's going to be months and months down the
So as
road.
soon as they don't show up for court or whatever,
Then
then it's,
then
it-
you lose your
right,
bond.
that,
You can't come back and get it.
that
in a
day, it
year.
could just be transferred out or the following day.
It's all done
Okay.
in a couple of weeks.
then
As
it
long
could
as
just
it's
go
put in
into
there.
fines and forfeitures.
Yep.
Yeah.
It looked like this account was created in 2019.
So we're just gonna move it to fines?
I would say the balance would be appropriate to move it to your police department fines in your general fund and leave the police bond open and available for any new bonds coming in.
Yeah, and then can you make a notation somewhere so that anytime there's a balance, it's put in there that you know where it can go after how many days?
Okay.
Like after 30 days or something, it's put into the fines or
Or like when a bond is made,
forfeited,
then maybe write their court date
something. so we
along
know.
with the money. Yeah,
Yeah.
if that it would make sense.
So the motion would be
There's no
to.
motion yet. That's
Well,
just
I
what
know,
it
that's
is.
why I'm
Yeah.
asking
guys
for a
like
motion to transfer these 4 itemized things back into the general fund? Is that what you're after,
No.
Anita?
No,
No.
no, they're all separated.
Yes, but they all go back into the general.
No.
Well,
No, they
no.
don't.
Oh, okay.
No, one's going to the
Water.
PD fines.
Well, let's go to the meter replacement. That was next. There was a reason we had the meter replacement thing in there. I don't think you should do anything with that. Literally, I think we were supposed to replace 10 water meters a year, and that probably happened 5 years ago, and we probably just don't do it anymore. I don't know.
There's no money coming into that, as you see. There's no
There should
income.
be,
It's actually in the water account.
but there should be a water replacement fund. You got it, AJ?
What she's saying,
Why we started that fund was because the life of the battery on the meter itself is approximately 10 years. Could be 9, could be 12, but their life expectancy is 10 years. It was about 10 years ago when Surrey did the big meter change out and went to the radio read meters. So we were trying to get ahead of the game for doing the meter pump replacement.
the meter fee has been on the water bills for the past 10 years since that replacement happened.
And the
What
meter
Anita
fee-
is trying to do is get that money, like this meter replacement fund was created. But there's also a line item in the water fund as a revenue for the same exact thing.
For
So
the
this is
meter.
doubling up.
It's doubling.
That's all she's
Okay,
trying
then
to
I
The
don't
line-
understand it. Yeah, that's
the
not
line-
what, that's what,
okay.
yeah, I didn't realize you were.
My
So if
big
you look
question,
at the water fund itself, there is a line item where when people pay their bills, $1 goes every bill into a meter
Mhm.
fee. And there's a line item in the water fund. This is an actual separate meter replacement fund that expenses are being taken out, but there's no income to offset it. So if you keep this fund, I would imagine you're going to want to transfer your water meter collection into the meter replacement so that you have like a active fund operating, if that makes sense.
Yep.
If not, then move this meter replacement as a line item into your water fund as an expense so that it's offset all in one place and it makes it simpler to look at.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Carla, what you want?
I'm sorry, you're calling on me?
Yes.
Okay. How much is in the water meter fee portion of the water fund right now?
In the water fund?
In the water fund?
I know, I was looking, okay, water fund is 5. Okay, water fund.
So far this year, $4,104 has been taken in. So my big question on these transfers
Yeah,
is
4104.
Okay, but how much is in
the
there
sidewalk project.
building from year to year?
Your water fund total?
The water meter portion.
The dollar.
line item of the water fund.
Well, I would imagine it's however many households that get a deal times a buck and times that by 12.
That's why it's set aside. They're trying to build a
Yep.
balance for that. And if you're closing that balance and transferring it into the general fund and not keeping it as a line item in the water fund, you're defeating the purpose of having a water meter.
It's not even. in
There's
the
an
general.
expense. There's a water fund revenue and a water fund expense. So, I mean, it's two different things.
Yeah, I realize that. What I'm
Okay.
saying is the fund builds a balance and
Yep.
increase the balance, carries from year to year. Income and expense happens and year, doesn't carry from year to year.
Absolutely. But if we did that to every single line item on here, it would be a gall darn
That's
mess.
what the water meter replacement fund was created for, was to build a balance for that.
Yeah, I don't see that underneath the water fund. I don't see
It is.
I don't see where there's a meter replacement underneath the 501 water fund
501 is water meter revenues.
revenue, right?
Yeah, that's the fourth line down.
Yep.
4104, current year to date.
So that,
If you're gonna build that balance in the fund, what's gonna end up happening when you're getting after replacing the water meters, is that that's gonna take away at Public Works, at their income, and, you know, and it's gonna take away at their budgeted line item, and the whole point of having that fund is to create essentially a bank account or specified designated funds for that specific use.
I would say that this, to me, this looks like this fund that you're talking about. The water, this revenue should have been going into this fund, into the into 505, into the replacement, and that number should have been building all along.
Right,
So
but
that
it's
should have been
not.
building
It's
for
going
10.
in 504.
Right, so you have to, so we're not taking it.
504, 505.
Where's 504?
So
So
does
I-
anybody remember the sidewalk project, like that, where that was supposed to be funded from? Is that sales tax money? Does anybody remember?
But technically, if you open that fund in 2019, there should be money. There shouldn't have just like gone to zero.
Well, there is.
There is money.
There
a
is money,
balance,
but it's,
There's almost $11,000 in the
But it's
water
not,
meter.
but only the expenses have been coming out of there and the income is going into the water. So it's not actively operating properly, is I guess what I'm making indication to. We have two separate funds. We have a water fund and a water meter replacement fund.
so in the water fund on the cash report, 1141, cash, water reserve, $51,823.01. So at the end of the year, we take all the revenue that we got from that and she will transfer it into the water reserve. This is the water meter account. So this is a double up. Right here. That's all she's trying to do is simplify it.
Right.
And it's perfectly fine. And let's move on to the sidewalk project.
If you're not following what the reserve was set up for, that's what I'm saying, is
It's
that
not working.
the fund is not an income, it's supposed to be zeroed out from year to year, the fund balance should be growing, it's almost like a little savings account, like what the fund is.
It's not being zeroed out though. It's being accounted for right here on the cash.
At the end of the year, Jennifer, what happens to the money that comes into the water meter replacement that wasn't used? What happens to that money?
It gets
Goes
put into this,
Water meter fund.
into the,
It goes into the water meter fund, this one here, or the part of the larger water fund?
it's under the water fund, under water meter.
There's a, yeah, not, there's,
You're saying that if somebody set up there at the end of the year, it's zeroed out.
It gets transferred from. Exactly. That's all she's trying to do.
I know, but it gets transferred where, that's my question.
So it's automatically, when you take a water payment, that, all the money that you collected from the water bills for that month goes automatically into the whatever line item that is. And then at the end of the year, when you do all your transfers, then it gets transferred into the water meter reserve fund or meter reserve account. And then that's where it
it's
holds
it.
its balance.
And where is the water, what's the balance of the water meter reserve account?
10,865.
Thank you, that's different than what was said 10 minutes ago.
Well, that's because I read the wrong line. Are we having a public forum tonight or can we just
Didn't
keep it to
seem
this?
like we were, but
Hold on,
probably gonna get.
I know,
Okay.
and then we were done talking about it. We're still done talking about it.
So,
That's enough.
so 505, this 505 needs to be put into that.
504, I would
10,000.
imagine.
So
That's
where it
the
gets moved.
idea, is just to try to simplify it. Unless you guys want to keep it separated, then I would imagine you want
No,
to
we're
take your
just
504
leaving it as
incomes
504.
at the end of the year and transfer it to the 505. Does that make sense?
So the question is, if we have to replace 20 water meters, where does the money come out of that account that Jenny said? That has the
Yep.
10,000 whatever dollars in
Correct.
it?
Yes.
Next item.
No,
Sidewalk. Anybody remember?
I thought it was.
I wasn't on.
Me either.
They pay, the grant money comes off the total bill, and then they bill us the remainder. So right now, we have paid, what? In 555. Oh, we've paid $46,000 in bills after the grant. So kind of just comes down to, how to zero that out at the end of our project, if that makes sense, because we didn't start with any money.
What was decided ahead of when we started the project?
I don't know.
What had to have been determined at that time? There has to be some kind of.
Is this
note.
the final 46,866 or are there,
There's more bills.
there's
coming
more
in.
coming and
Yep.
are we done? I mean, we did some repairing already to the sidewalk project.
I don't think it's done.
And I'm not,
They sprayed the grass on and stuff.
I'm just
I know,
looking to
but-
see,
that's
like,
just cosmetic.
do you guys want me to dig to find out,
I think it was a sales tax, but I'm not positive.
But are we willing to pay for a project that we aren't sure is completed?
Well,
Because
that's-
I think there's still going to be some issues this winter. I don't think it's over.
I'd have never voted on it if I knew it wasn't gonna be level and you could shove in the snow right off the road off of the, right
Yeah, I
across the
think it's
sidewalk now.
a
It's-
bigger
But if
demand.
there's gonna be
You can't-
more, this is the 46 we've already spent.
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
there's
but
gonna be more coming, so I guess I would just leave it as is for now until we know exactly what's supposed to be done with it
okay,
and where
well,
the money was coming from.
Well, it should be when you voted on the project at that time.
Yeah,
it should
she
have
can
been some-
research that and see what it is, but
Yeah.
there's no sense
Okay.
transferring some now and then we're
Right.
not done with it. I know there's gonna be more bills coming out of it.
and I guess I wasn't looking for that. I just kind of looking for the idea of where are we gonna, so you guys get your mind on where are we doing that from? If you want me to research where,
There should be something as far as
It
where
should
it
have
was
been.
coming from when they started it.
Yeah, there has to be some kind of a note or something that was said where the money, the excess.
Whether
money
it's sales tax or whatever, that's probably where it was. But yeah, if you just want to check to see where it was from.
okay,
It should be in the minutes because it's when we voted on it.
Right.
and that was 2017, 18? 18? An idea, thank you.
Yeah, good luck.
So then
Discussion ensued.
you want some motions on these other ones if anybody cares to do so? Is that what-
Yeah, I just kind of pointing it out to you guys to try to make things simpler, or if.
Okay, I'll make a
whatever-
motion to zero out the insurance reserve fund of 3279.80 and put it in the general fund.
We have a motion
Second.
by Steve and a second by Jennifer. Voice vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed.
I'll make the exact same motion for the police bonds
Second.
Into what,
into the police budget, or to the fines and forfeitures rather.
That was also second by Jennifer.
Yep.
Mhm.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. How about the water enterprise money?
I'll do the same thing with that. That goes into that, whatever number it is.
1142.
Yeah.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Motion passed. And
Now-
the sidewalk fund.
I'll do some digging. Does that sound okay?
And I think the only one that's left on here then is the highway fund because there's a highway and then a highway repair, and then a highway capital outlay.
Oh, yes.
And again, the capital outlay doubles up because we already have a highway capital outlay in account or fund 400.
Yeah, the highway, to me, a highway fund is a highway fund. We have 3 of them here in Surrey. Just not understanding why it would be a highway repair fund when you could make it a highway repair line item or, a capital outlay line item within your overall highway fund. Just trying to make it simpler.
And I'm just gonna fall back once again on the prior auditors we've had. They probably had their own way of setting up this fund for
Right.
this fund for that, and that fund for this. Everything was accounted for the last 50 years. It changes throughout, but if you want to change something, then you certainly can. But we just need to make sure we're changing it.
Well, you
For the
approve you guys approve the reports. So, I mean, if you like looking at the reports the way they are, totally your call.
I hate the reports.
Mhm.
That's a whole different
I
matter.
am trying to make life simpler, if that makes sense.
So to me, it looks like when AJ takes a look at his budget, he looks at the highway fund. He doesn't look at, I mean, I'm just speaking for you, but I don't think
Right.
you check Fund 206 and 208 to make sure that, because it doesn't look like any money at all has been taken out of the highway repair fund, which is $18,000. But then if you look at your expense budget for the highway repair, there's money in there too. So it's like doubled up. So I'm assuming that you would just like to look at one fund where you are for your highway
If we're
stuff.
talking highway, I want to talk about highway, not 3 separate funds, But that's just, I guess that would just make sense to me. But again, it's truly your guys' call. If you want to leave them there, we leave them there.
That capital outlay needs to go into capital outlay, but then the repair fund would go into highway.
Unless there was a reason that it was set aside.
But it's a double up is all.
No, I mean the highway, like the highway repair fund, like unless there was, at some point in time, we set aside that dollar amount for a reason.
It would have been broken down that we needed that money specifically for a certain project or whatever.
Right, but like you said, somebody could have put it in on their way so they knew how it was, and now this is the way it's labeled. It just, we don't really know. If all you're doing is cleaning up your spreadsheet a little bit, I mean, it just seems like we're just discussing stuff that you could just do this, really. You're just cleaning up your spreadsheet.
I'm making sure you guys
She
want
needs
the
to make
same
sure we
thing.
do so it doesn't come back.
Shouldn't it be combined?
Well, the outlay would be separate, like Jenny said.
The outlay is more
I mean,
like
just
city
the
said.
repair
But the
fund is all.
60,098.37 and the 18,000 could be combined.
You have a motion?
I'll make a motion to move Fund 206 Highway Repair Fund money into the highway fund and Fund 208 Highway Capital Outlay into the 400 Capital Outlay Fund.
Into the 201 fund?
Yeah, under Public Works.
I
I'll-
second it.
Okay, you want to say that again, Jenny?
Yep. 206 money into the highway fund as a line item or account item, and Fund 208 into Fund 400 as a line item or account item for Public Works.
Into the 400
Yep.
capital equipment?
Yes.
We have a motion by Councilman Johns to move the funds in the 206 Highway Repair Fund into the 201 Highway Fund, and the funds from the 208 Highway Capital Outlay Fund to the 400 City Sales and Capital Equipment Fund. We have a second,
I second it.
Brent?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye. Or nay, whatever you want to call it.
Motion passed.
Okay. Your water tower loan, I found out that I need authorization or someone needs authorization to transact with them. So a motion to at least have myself, or if you choose the deputy auditor to be listed as a signer, so we can transact at Bremer for our water tower loan, would be amazing.
We need a motion to approve the auditor and the deputy auditor to sign on the water tower fund. Correct?
One or both, or whatever you guys want to see fit. Yep, someone to transact as signer at Bremer Bank for the water tower loan.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Tiffany,
I'll second it.
second by Jenny.
To appoint your auditor?
Auditor and deputy auditor.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passed.
Okay. Just same kind of goes. We talked overhead, kind of about safe deposit box. We had items at Bremer. We retrieved those items, and then it was suggested to get credit cards also at First International. So we all have everything at one financial location. We'd have our safe deposit box, new credit cards, and all of our checking savings all at one financial institution. Just would like to see that you guys make that a formal motion to have that on the books.
So you're looking for a motion to approve,
The safe deposit box and the credit cards at First International.
But you've already done it.
Because it was talked high level. I'd love to see you guys put it actually in an motion, if that's okay.
But it's already done.
It is already done.
So you want us to make a motion on something that's already done?
I want you to prove it, yes.
What if we don't approve it? Are you gonna put it back?
I certainly can.
Who said to do it in the first place without approval?
We talked at the September meeting, I think, when Twyla had, she had mentioned to also get a credit card at First International. I believe September was the meeting that had discussion.
Wasn't it, it wasn't a discussion to get one also at that place, not just have one?
Well, I think at the time, the credit card was still at First Western
The credit card was.
and the safe deposit box was still at First Western. Since we're banking now, the city is with First International, it does make sense to have everything at one location.
Yes.
And the credit card at First International is a really good deal. You can earn points and
It was kind of something that we went, oh, it was done, and then I went, gosh, I should have had you guys approve it. I'm sorry.
well,
What's
I
in-
guess it comes with when you move all your bank accounts, you
Right.
kind of assume that it's a
You
lock,
assume
stock
that
and
it's
barrel
okay.
kind of a deal.
Yep.
I don't think there's a need to make a motion once it's already done.
First International did require a copy of our minutes when we discussed it.
For the
because
safety deposit box
They
and
wanted
and the
it.
credit card.
Sounds like a good deal to me.
I'll make a motion to have a safety deposit box and credit card at First International Bank.
I second.
They need it for that.
we have a motion by Twyla and a second by Brent to approve the safe deposit box and the credit card at First International Bank. Voice vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Say again?
Aye.
Yeah, he opposed.
Okay. Aiden. Motion passed. Utility bills.
That's just kind of for formal purposes too. Bills that come in throughout the month, such as like otter tail, MDU, one calls, items that you would not want your lights turned off if the bill wasn't paid. To have your guys' blessing to pay them, and we have been doing it somewhat that way, but it'd be nice to have it on the books that you're good with that.
You provide a financial report that lists the details of all those bills, so, I mean, we are kind of approving them, but you've already paid them. We do the
Right.
same thing at the school.
Okay.
We call it just prepaid checks, but there are bills that are due before board meetings. That's just the way it goes.
I mean, it's probably in the job description that you pay the bills on a monthly basis. Yeah, I think you're just overkilling
Overkilling
it,
it?
without a doubt.
Okay. Don't mean to overkill you guys.
Okay, is that it then?
That is it.
Okay, I did, I guess the police report is next. Do the officers, well, hey Kevin, do the officers keep track of streetlights that are out?
If
No,
they see them
Ron.
out, yep,
On Third Avenue, there's a couple of them that are off and on,
okay, if they're going on and off.
yeah.
The lights get hot, they cycle on and off. We try to keep up with them too, it's sort of like this.
Yeah, the police are out there at night, you're not, so.
We let Sam know, the goes over there, the lights are on. Even LEDs can stay on, but they don't.
Time
The problem
to-
we run into is when they cycle, we don't know when they're cycling on or off, but if we see it for some length of time.
Well, I know on Third there on Halloween, that was off and on quite a bit, so.
Well, good evening, council. First thing I want to do is thank Anita for lining up the parade and the Halloween event, because even though it was cool and cold again, I want to thank Anita and thank the citizens of Surrey for showing up for the trunk or treat and parade, because it turned out very well. I'm going to also send a letter to the Surrey Fire Department. It was amazing and awesome how many firefighters showed up and assisted in traffic control, and also handing out candy at trunk or treat. It was really great to see that everybody turned out, even though the weather wasn't the greatest, and the kids enjoyed it. I think the adults that were there enjoyed it that I talked to. And once again, the only question they had is why I dressed up again as a police officer. They think I need a new uniform for next year's Halloween, and I'll work on that. It's going to take me a little bit longer tonight because I like the end of the year to address everything. I wait till the end of the year to see how the police department budget does and monitor everything. And I wait till November or December to make the big decisions on where we saved money and where we didn't and where we need items. So what I'm going to start with this evening is I got notified by Surrey River Telephone. I know you voted and approved last month on the security system. Unbeknownst from the time that Surrey River Telephone gave us the bid and when he came to order the equipment, it had went up $600 between the cost of the cameras were $20-some a piece more, and there were 12 of them, and $192 increase for the DVR. They did not increase their labor at all. This wasn't on SRT. It was the supply and demand of equipment. And as you all know, this can change daily. And so what I need for the council, I know you approved an amount for it, but I got a letter from them. It's included in your packets. The labor didn't go up, but the price of the equipment did. So we need to increase that to the amount of $600 higher to $9,132.62 in order for them to proceed.
We're 600 short to what we
Had
made the motion
approved.
for last time.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion to approve the increase.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved.
Okay, the next item I have, I said I'd come back to you this month once I saw a closer looking at the line item budget for the police department in reference to the Cradle Point, the hotspots, which we have to go to a different system in the patrol cars now with the new trunking system and radios. That bid was $2,247. In looking at the police department's funds, I don't see any reason to take that out of the COVID money. I would recommend that we take it out of the prisoner board fund, which we have 3,730 sitting in that fund. And because of COVID yet, the Ward County Jail, we're hardly taking any inmates. So we're not getting cost. We started with 4,000 for the year on that. It has to be a serious crime, and if it is, they end up staying 1 or 2 nights that we've had, $65 a night. I'd feel very comfortable if the council concurs to, instead of taking that money out of COVID, to go ahead and take it out of the prisoner board fund, and we'll have plenty of money left in that fund. And that's my recommendation.
I'll make a motion to move that transfer.
I'll
for
second
Kevin.
that.
The next thing I have is Mike.
One
Hold
second,
on.
Kevin.
Hold
Oh,
on, we have to vote.
We have a motion on the floor to transfer money from the prisoner board fund to, which fund was it?
To pay for the watch guard
There you go.
instead of the COVID fund, right?
Yeah. We have a second.
I second it.
Tiffany?
Yes.
Voice vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passed.
okay, on the next item I have, Mike Nason was our part-time officer, even though he had a full-time job. Mike turned in his resignation letter effective. He wanted it to be the end of September. I talked him into working the end of October. His wife is in Bismarck, and every other weekend he would go home to see her where she lives, and he works up here full-time. And he decided between having the full-time job and even working 6 to 8 shifts a month got to be too much because they've been having him travel more, Spartan has. So I accepted his letter of resignation and came on his last night of work and gave him a letter of appreciation for working for the city of Surrey. Also, as in the past with the bulletproof vest, we usually make the part-time pay for half of their vest. Then we give them the option if they want to buy it out or leave it with the city of Surrey. Mike agreed to buy it out, so I turned a check in to Anita for City of Surrey for the balance, $384.28. Because what I've noticed in the past, when we had people do that, the vests would be here. They're form fitted for each officer. They're not used and they just pile up in the back room. And this way we get some of our cost back. So I just wanted you to be aware of that I turned that in to Anita. And Mike did agree to buy the vest. Along those lines, the last thing I have is in regards to our cameras in the patrol cars. We have 3 of them. They usually have a lifespan of 5 to 7 years, and we are at the end of our lifespan on those. I was going to bring that up last month, and I thought, well, everything was going fine. I'll see how it goes. And wouldn't you know it, one went out. So we are down 1 camera in one of the cars. So I went ahead and called the WatchGuard company and got their latest bid on their cameras. To outfit the 3 vehicles with new cameras, which would be good for another 5 to 7 years. I got a copy of the bid in your packet. There is $5,109. The only thing I would add to that, in speaking to the Ward County Sheriff's Department and the Renville County Sheriff's Department, since we put our cameras in the cars, if we include another $500 per unit, it will download by Wi-Fi automatically in the city here to the computer, so you don't have to every night bring the USB out, put it in the computer and download it, because you can corrupt them sometimes by taking them in and out, which has happened. So it's an upgrade and a change that they did, which costs an additional $500 a unit, which would bring the total to $5,609 per car, which would be times 3 would be $16,827. My suggestion would be to take that out of the COVID fund, because we're sitting at over 130-some thousand in that fund, and it was mainly created from emergency response and law enforcement. And I think this would be a good use, because we're looking at another 5 to 7 years down the road before we need to make a change again.
What do you do with the old cameras?
I'm gonna try to get those listed on the Slick website and get what money we can for the other two that are working.
I agree with Kevin. From what he's told me, the cost of these items are only going up. I mean, the one thing went up $1,000 in a month.
The handheld radio in 1 month went up from Motorola. The supply and demand, constant changing that we needed, went up from 5,500 to 6,500 in 1 month.
So next year, when we're looking to purchase these, I mean, they could be $7,000 a piece.
Mhm.
So I'm just thinking, I agree that since we have the money, I'll make a motion to approve that purchase for $16,827 out of the COVID relief fund.
I'll second it.
That's with the $500 upgrade.
The
Yes.
1,500.
And the other thing about this is, when you look at it from a police perspective, we very seldom, since we put these cameras in the cars, have any trials in the city of Surrey. So it saves us the attorney fees and money on all of this, because they basically are like the radar units. They pay for themselves.
We have a motion by Jenny and a second by Twyla. Any further discussion? Voice vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passed.
And the last item that I have this evening, looking at the budget, I highlighted, since we aren't going to have a part-time officer for the rest of the year, I'm showing on this sheet that we have $9,743 left in the part-time fund. My recommendation would be to move that to the supply and operations fund for the rest of the year. As you know, we struggled with trying to get ammunition like everybody else for the police department, and it was twice as expensive for when we bought the ammunition last year. Technically, in the manual, each officer is supposed to get 2 boxes of ammunition per month to practice with. We have not done that for 2 reasons. Number one, you couldn't get the ammo, and number 2, it was very expensive per box. So the reason I'm asking to move that part-time money that we won't be using the rest of the year in that fund is they do have some ammo in stock now, so we can go ahead and issue that per officer, because the biggest liability for a city is if you get involved in a shooting and you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing with practicing and qualifying.
I'll make that a motion.
No, but I'm saying to move it into that fund in case other expenses come up. I was just told by Whalen and Havas, since they're outfitting the new pickup and we bought our stuff, that December 1st, they're going up 5 to 10% on everything. So I want to make sure we get through the next 2 months.
And I think everything's gonna keep going.
And I'm not saying use the whole 97. We don't need that much ammo.
just wants to
I'm
move
just
the
saying
line
as an
items.
example.
Yeah, I get that, but I mean, we've spent a lot of money on other items, not police related, without a doubt. And somewhere in the general fund, we have to recoup some of that money as well.
Well, you are going to recoup 44,000 out of the chief's fund that you aren't even spending because of my working for the wages I'm working for. So you have 44,000 there also. So the police department actually has saved you a lot of money.
Well, and they gotta keep up on their training, so if it's needed for whatever in the future, it should be there.
And I agree, and you're gonna see more and more of that. At the last Chiefs conference, everybody is concerned with the liability, and the training costs have went up, where it used to be $199 to go to a training. Most of them are going to between $300 and $500 now, even in the state of North Dakota. To go to a background investigation course for a day and a half to follow the new rules in Jamestown for a day and a half costs $300. Everything's changing.
With that, without a part-time guy, is there gonna be more overtime for the next 2 months out of curiosity?
No,
Because you're actually gonna have another full-time officer that's on.
hopefully if we can find somebody by March of next year. So we should be sitting okay.
No, but your guy that you just got, that's finishing his training, he just got finished with last month.
He would have until we had one officer out on medical, so we had an additional 9 days in November. So if everything goes well, by the middle of November to the end of November, he'll be off his FTO training.
Okay.
We
So
had
then
to
he'll-
add those days on to the other end.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we will have him, yes, so we won't have two to a car,
You're
so,
actually gonna.
we're
have
gonna
more
be
coverage
okay.
then.
yes,
Yes.
we're gonna be okay. We didn't expect that extra 8 to 9 days.
Well, we didn't expect a couple being out on COVID either.
I'll make a motion to transfer the 9,000, what did you say it was, chief? 9,000?
I'm going according to the sheet tonight. I hear it says 9,743. Not that we're gonna spend the 9,743, just to have it available if something changes between now and the end of December.
I'll make a motion to transfer that to supplies so that they can purchase ammo for the officers.
I have a motion by Twyla,
Second,
a second by Brent,
yeah,
to transfer $9,743 into another fund
Supplies.
for bullets. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And the last thing I have is Surrey Police Department, along with other law enforcement agencies, North Dakota Highway Patrol, Ward County Sheriff's Department, all law enforcement in North Dakota, November 1st through December 16th, just to make you aware that we are in the grant that we got for occupant protection, so make sure you wear your seatbelts. Thank you. I don't
Thanks,
have
Kevin.
anything else. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Kevin.
you.
Engineer report.
I got an email late today, so this was not included. I'm gonna distribute though, take one, pass it down. Tom could not come here yet tonight. So,
Oh, wait, I think I have two. Anita.
yeah, okay,
Yep.
sorry, there's like
Anybody else
5
need one?
pages here. I don't know, is it the same thing?
There's more
Nope,
to it.
there's more to it. This just came in today.
Yep.
Sorry.
It's 4 pages.
Do the items when they come in last minute, but
That's 5 pages.
yeah, you had an extra one? Okay. Beautiful. So quick summary of the current progress of projects going on in Surrey. Sidewalk project. Strata was on site October 18th to do grading and drainage improvements. Boger and Sons were on site on October 7th and installed crosswalk signage. Green Cat Services was on site October 18th and did minor grading and shaping of topsoil areas, hydroseeding. October 29th, they met with AJ, Strata, and BN to look at the drainage around the crossing, south of the railroad crossing on the west side of the new sidewalk. Did you want to input on your meeting with them?
CN wanting some sort of drainage, whether it was poured in with the small pipe underneath the sidewalk, just on the south side of the track, to the whole water, if you have a big rainstorm. It's only a spot, maybe whatever from Pleasant to the sidewalk is, 7, 8 feet by 10 feet, but the roadmaster out of Fargo was concerned about it, so Strata was gonna get some quotes on getting a small line bored in for adequate drainage, and they're gonna come back once the line is done and in place, then they're gonna add some railroad ballast and make it to where we can cross with the skid steer to sweep the sidewalk off and keep up the snow. And then after all that's done, then we would do a final walk.
Where they're gonna put that conduit, is that just gonna be like a drain on top and it's gonna go into the sidewalk and out to the east?
Do we have more sidewalk going in, after all of this, or is this the end of
No,
it?
No, I think that's all.
Can you take mine? Nope.
Are we gonna get nailed for part of that?
Whose expense is that if they want that extra drainage?
ours.
Our
Our
street.
sidewalk,
Our
the
street.
grant only covers so much money,
So why are we putting it in? Just because they want it in? I mean,
so they can just tell us to take it away from their tracks.
They're worried about having, water being held there and have a soft spot in tracks and having derailment. And part of it would be us, and part of it would be the state, the DOT on the project,
This is the south side of the tracks or the north side?
south side. North side has a culvert that was put in for the specs.
But the grant's already gonna be maxed out, we won't get no more money out of that, are we?
I would, yeah, I would assume no.
That's maxed out.
Because we're already $48,000 over what the grant was in the first place.
No, our
No.
total bill is supposed to be, I believe, 96 or 98,000, if I remember.
Well, I
right.
know,
Our bill,
that's why I said we're at 48 right
Yeah.
now.
right.
I just think the sidewalk thing is a.
It should,
Oh, it's a joke.
I
It
wouldn't have
is
voted
a
on it
mess.
myself. I thought it was gonna be level with the road, so the public works guys could push the snow right off across the sidewalk and stuff.
I mean, that rainstorm we had, and it wasn't really even a rainstorm. I mean, we did get 2 inches of rain, but I mean, there could be bigger storms coming and we're gonna get, 5, 6 inches and then what?
They
But-
did fix some of the drainage after that rainstorm,
Yeah.
and there were spots in the streets all over town that was holding water too, so.
There's a tremendous amount of kids and people use that sidewalk. There is.
But we don't know if what they repaired, because that was after the storm, correct? So we don't
There's a
know
response there.
if
No,
it's,
There's additional
if
response.
it's really gonna take care of the problem. We don't really know that yet. 100%.
Maybe not.
I guess my concern is why it was designed that way in the first place. I feel like it could have been avoided.
This is new to me because it was before me, obviously, but, so they must have came to us with a plan, some blueprints, a plan, and we approved it?
Yep.
Did we not research it enough before we
No, I
approved
think
it?
they researched it enough, but when you go out there and once you start throwing the pavement down, I mean, nothing in this town drains properly.
Right,
And you get some water on it. And yeah, that water sat there for a couple of hours. It was 2 inches or whatever. I mean, I got pictures. Somebody texted me them, and a couple hours later, Jason texted me more pictures. The water was gone.
right.
You
But
can drive on every gravel road out here when it rains. There's no crown in it. The water sits on the roads.
that's everywhere
Right.
now.
But what I'm getting at is, we keep going back to this like it was a,
It was a federal grant money, and then we had to pay so much money of it.
so we just approved it. The council at that time approved it and said, yep, go with this, the plans.
Mhm.
Yep.
And now we're kind
Now
of
you're
complaining
paying for it.
about those plans?
Do the
We
best you have with what
trusted
you
our
got.
We trusted our engineer to do it the way I guess we thought that would be done right. And apparently it's done differently than what we expect. It's no different than the sidewalk out here that goes to the school. That was under the same
Yeah, I mean, the water thing, I mean, it's gonna, you get 2 inches of rain, you're gonna get water on the sidewalk. I mean, I don't know, I don't see I just feel like we're complaining about something we can't do anything about right now.
I don't know what you're gonna do about it.
No.
Right, you
At-
approved it, the city approved it, that's what we got.
At the last meeting, the engineer said that everything was done according to the approved
Right.
plans, so, I mean,
We're-
it's- we can
Whoever
complain all we
approved
want,
it
but
is,
if we aren't willing to tow the whole bill to repair it, we're just gonna have to shut up about it.
right, that's what I think,
It's better than no sidewalk.
right.
I don't think it was ever proposed to us at the meeting when we talked about it, how it was gonna be a foot lower than the road or any of that stuff.
But that would've
wasn't
been on-
addressed to us.
But it would have been on the plans, so when you read the plans, you
Yes, I'm
approved
not a
those.
blueprint reader,
Right.
I didn't see it, so.
That's the thing, I mean,
We
it
went by
probably
it.
was, but if it said it on the plans, you approved those plans, that's what they went with,
And that's why we let our engineer decide and thought he was doing the best for us.
right? And
First set of blueprints that we've seen, we have the pre-construction engineer, he done Chuck the boat there, Strata guys.
That was the first that we seen, and that was in June, or that was in May, wasn't it?
Okay,
Yeah,
so are we
that's-
moving on?
Okay.
Yeah, and then their other report was that the wells were installed at the lagoon, so you guys know. And AJ can talk more on his public works side of the lagoon and things that he's done.
I have a question on the engineer thing. Do we need to talk about it every month from now on, or can we avoid, limit it?
An engineer report's kind of like a police report.
Well, yeah, I know, but every year, every month, it's engineer report, sidewalk report. Like, are we done with it? Is it done?
No, we're not done with it.
It's not done
Not
yet.
until
It's
your
not done
project
yet.
is done.
He was here last month and discussed some stuff.
Well,
And
we
he
just
wasn't here
talked
this
about
month,
the
but there was
culvert
pictures and
underneath the
issues the public
railroad
brought up,
tracks
so
or
you about
whatever.
have to.
But what do we do about it? We can't do anything
We have
about
to wait
the,
till it's completely done and then we can complain some more, I suppose.
Well, you
Right.
gotta just listen to his report and his progress.
okay.
Do we need to decide about the portion by the railroad tracks?
It sounds like you can't do anything about it. They're just gonna come in and do it anyway.
We still need to know what they're gonna, we still need to know
With the,
that they're.
with
what they're
BN,
We just had the meeting Friday, so we haven't heard anything from Strata on, what's gonna cost for it.
But
We
it,
figure it's gonna be over $500-600.
but it doesn't,
Only an
it
8-foot hole.
doesn't seem like it matters, though. They're just gonna do it anyway, so.
This took a year or two longer just to get the railroad to approve that sidewalk to go through.
Right.
So if they want to stick a pipe under the ground, and we gotta pay for it, that's what's gonna happen.
Right, so I mean, like I said, so what, it's just,
I think he still has to refer and let us know that regardless
happening.
if we're
Yeah,
gonna
every
approve it or
month.
not, it has to be done. So I think, but that's his job is to tell us.
Yep.
So,
We spent 25
Whether-
minutes a couple different times talking about chickens, so we can wait 10 minutes on this.
Okay, Public Works report. AJ, you got anything?
Somewhere up in all your conglomerate papers, there's a packet of pictures floating around.
yes, down there. That's the lagoon
That
pictures.
was pictures I took from drilling the wells up between cell 1 and cell 3. They're still monitoring to figure out exactly what they can figure out to see what's going on. We did finally get with Kelsey between his schedule and everything on Wednesday. We finally got the transfer line between 2 and 3 fixed. Cell 2, the concrete ring that keeps 18 inches of water in the lagoon, we've discovered after we diked it off, the ring had actually shifted and moved like 1.5 feet to the side, and the hole where the pipe went in was actually a quarter turn off. So when I was trying to jet that a year ago, I was going through the ring and hitting the outside of the pipe. Cell 3 side, we was able to locate the line, and we got a old ring from Keller Paving. I don't know the price on that yet. It's not gonna be a couple $100. So we got that ring. We cut a 8-inch square or 9-inch square hole in it, slipped it on the end of the pipe, and between the two rings, we used 15 bags of sackcrete to grout in, so that way you don't have your soil seeping in. And
You guys worked late on Friday to get that done.
Friday, Kelsey wanted to come out and do cleanup before it got bitterly cold, so.
Really good
We got
choice.
some more cleanup to do, but we're gonna wait till maybe spring to do it, give everything time to settle on the cell-free side.
I think that's a good job.
That seems to fix your problem there.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
awesome. And his
Yeah,
bill
we-
was really reasonable.
Pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually for what we
Well,
were
I
Right,
figured it was
thinking.
gonna be about that, but it's better to ask more and not use it
Well,
than
if you
to
don't know, you don't
come
know.
back and try to get more.
We made the right decision to do it that way, though.
And other than that, as far as we can tell, we're ready for winter. I did get stopped this morning at Karma, and over across from Ken Johnson's, there's a little hole in the pavement. He was worried about it being a pothole. We went and stuck a probe in it, and there's a gas line underneath it, an SRT line across it. So we called Midco or MDU. They brought out a sniffer. They said it's not gas related. We never did see SRT over there, but it sounds like they have an issue from when they were doing their fiber optics, and it's causing an issue in the road. So hopefully they're gonna fix it. The better, it's right by their line. And I'm hoping that I can get them to camera the main at the manhole right at Ken and Terry Johnson in 20 feet, just to make sure that they didn't hit a sewer service or hit the main when they were doing all their boring.
Perfect. Thank you for doing that. I know there was actually several sewer lines hit during that process in other towns.
Yep.
Thanks, AJ.
Do you think, AJ, on the east part of town when you come off of Highway 2, it seems like there's so much weeds along there. Does your boom mower, will that reach down in there a little farther?
Rush hour?
Or, yeah, will that wing, does that drop off the side enough?
Tractor got sold from us in late July or August. We haven't had a rush hour since then.
I was gonna say, cause that coming in, there's a lot of weeds. You know what I mean, when you come off the highway, cross the tracks, and to turn on the, is it second over there or whatever.
School?
No, east side of town, coming in on the east side of the school. On 111th, isn't it over
Oh.
there? Right. There's a lot of weeds that are in the ditch, and it looks like it'd be easier if we look better too, if we got that mowed down. I don't know if you got what you got to mow it down though, so you can use your riding mower.
Yeah, we don't have anything to do it.
What, City Street?
Is that the highway?
That's township, right?
It splits between the city and
Yeah.
township.
Yeah, one
It's-
side's township, one side's city.
Yeah.
Well, I think when they did the soft spots, the city had to pay for half, the township paid for the other half.
Yeah,
For the
right
work,
between
so-
the end of the asphalt.
All I know is it looks like crap and you're gonna have a lot of snow,
And we tried to mow everything we could.
but you haven't had a tractor since the end of July, it didn't start raining till then, so.
Right.
I don't know. I think we need to get someone to go in there with a mower and mow it. Okay, check it out, and see what you see.
That may be something, maybe see if Kelsey can rent a mower for his skid steer, if you got that trap skid steer.
Cause it's steep, the ditch is steep, over your weeds, you get off the asphalt, it's literally, they're this tall. You know,
Wouldn't that fall under state?
There's not.
Is it the state
states,
of Oakland?
yeah, but you're, I'm talking even on the north side of the track. State's gonna be part of it. They're only gonna come in a little ways off the pavement.
The other side wouldn't be city, right?
All I know is it needs to be mowed.
Should be a township thing to get away with them then.
Yeah.
Should be their responsibility on cities.
Maybe someone, Anita, someone get a hold of the township, who's that, Lance? President of the board, see if they can mow that stuff.
AJ, just one more thing. This diamond mapping thing, I think is fabulous. How do we go about this? It's,
Needs to be cleaned up, so I.
oh, it's and or it's or? It's
So
not,
John's looking into the details of it, right? He was looking to see before he actually provided them up to you guys.
every chance that he's got, he's sitting over there, either on the computer or on his phone, messing with the program itself. And he's even gone home on the weekends, on his personal time, messing with it, trying to learn the ins and outs.
Is it fairly easy to use or is it?
I've only played with it for a few minutes here and there, and so far we both like it.
I mean, I would be, do you need a motion to approve this? I would be totally in favor of it.
It's only $300 for the year, but
Oh.
it's under the thousand, we just wanted your guys' blessing.
Didn't we do all that with AE2S when they,
No,
When
I
they
think they were gonna
surveyed
do
the
that
sewers and
GIS
stuff?
mapping
And it didn't go through.
and I don't know, it just didn't happen. I know that Bob, that was pretty much his summer job for the past 5 years, locating curb stops and drawing it up. And like you said in your report here, there is a book in there, but in a situation, an emergency situation, that's time consuming and not a good deal. I know that an engineering firm would cost a ton of money to get this mapped out for the city. So since you have the information, winter's coming up, I think it's the perfect time for you guys to do it. And I'm just grateful to both of you, whoever found it. So I would make a motion to approve that at a yearly or the cheapest rate.
Last year, I actually got quotes on having, from AE2S, from their guy that does this, what would be the best way to do this, what we would need. And his recommendation is gonna cost like 15 or 20,000.
Easily.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, just to access that site is up to $300 a month.
John's
A
gonna
month.
be so excited that you're on
So,
board with this.
I'll make a
because
motion to approve this.
I'll second it.
we have a motion to approve the, what do they call it, GPS? No.
Nope.
Diamond mapping.
Diamond map.
Yeah, we've tried different ways, like Google Earth. He spent 2 afternoons in the office on the computer trying to diagram it out. He did the same thing on diamond maps, in like 30 minutes.
This is worth a ton of money, sitting right here, just this one page. So whenever you have the time, do a section of town. Absolutely, it's fantastic. Thank you for doing that.
I will let him know.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passed.
Oh, and Kim was texting me about the otter tail lights. She said she's already done them by then. Just to let you know.
Is Otter Tail over on, you're on Otter Tail?
Everything's otter tail except for silver.
Oh, okay.
And 3rd Avenue Northwest.
Okay. Unfinished business. Report for the Water Tower District. That's the yellow sheet. You want to go through that, Anita?
It's up to you guys if you want to go through it. Deborah was here. We worked on the water tower project. I just want to let you guys all know too that special assessments were certified as they were due November 1st, which is today. So assessments have been turned to the accounting. But the water tower project, we found that potentially why the fund maybe doesn't look like it's performing is because there was no admin fees to account for people. Admin fees that the bank charges each year or that to account for people that get behind maybe on their taxes. But other than that, besides the allocations that maybe have been mistakenly logged, the fund seems to be operating properly. So with that would be just proposing that transfers be made for those misallocated county deposits, verify the balance, and then potentially get rid of this water tower savings account that has some balance. Not sure what started the account. Doesn't match what we have in our fund. And then there's no transactions besides interest happening. So it's a ledger that's not functioning properly. Kind of the same to report on your district 29 and 30. We went through that project as well. That is for a generator and paving. Some suggested transfers for funds that were received from the county and put into wrong funds. Verify that balance, and then get rid of the savings that goes with that and move it all into one money market savings. So you guys know the balance of each fund in your money market account instead of having all these other ledgers that are not functioning other than earning interest. That's high level. I don't know if you guys want to talk more about it. Do you understand any of it? If you have questions for me, I guess.
Any questions? Hearing none, we'll move on to new business. Emergency Operations Plan.
Would you make any proposals suggested
On what?
on those two projects
I would say just do what you have to do to fix it.
to clean it up?
Yeah, especially having her out here and everything, and being able to sit down and look through that whole thing.
It was like learning the history of why and how that all happened. It was great. Great information to get a handle on things.
Well, that's good.
So
Yeah,
if you guys as members are all in agreement that we just go with the proposals as suggested,
I
love
Yeah.
your blessing on that.
I
Carla?
Did you ever get a review what Kim was talking about in the last meeting as well?
Could you be more specific?
Kim had talked at the last meeting about there being something that they thought they might be $178,000 short on a.
That's on the TIF, I
That's on the
believe.
TIF.
That's, she hasn't investigated that
Deborah will
yet.
be here in November to
We'll
work
do that.
through TIF next. Yep.
Emergency Operation. Is that yours?
That'd be me.
Okay.
Good evening. My name's Kelly Haugen. I'm the Assistant Emergency Manager for Worth County. I was emailing back and forth with Anita the last couple months. I went through the old EOP, updated a few things. Most of it is grammar and just cleaning up language. Some of it was personnel, like the PIO and updating you all's positions in it. I know Anita got with Chief Howland when I reviewed it as well. And it was very minor changes. The meat of the plan is the same as what it's been in the past years. Just the language cleaned up a little bit and updated. I'm looking for a motion to approve the Surrey emergency operations plan. And I'll answer questions if I can.
Does anyone have any questions? AJ?
Before we approve that, I went over it with Anita and Chief a week or so ago. I went over it again this morning, and I noticed that on page 8, my name is listed with John's cell phone number, and on page 11, there's the wrong email address in Public Works. So before we officially adapt it, we should get those updated and changed.
What's the page 8 and what page
Page 11
11 has what?
has an old email address that we don't use.
Okay.
What-
Give
What's the
them to
current
me,
one?
I'll update them and send them to.
It's,
Is it in the red there?
Do you have it with you, Kelly?
I've got them, I think.
Nice.
Surrey Public Works 2.
Can you say that louder for us?
Surrey Public Works 2 at iCloud.com.
Surrey Public Works 2,
That's the old email address. Okay.
2 at iCloud.
That's the new email address.
So I guess I'm looking for a motion to approve the emergency operations plan with the updated numbers that DJ just gave me.
I would make a motion to approve as with the changes.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Aiden and a second by Brett. Do we have any further questions, discussion?
You read through that too, Anita? Everything else looks good.
Everything, I thought it's decent.
I didn't read it. It looked like a lot of words.
It's basically
I agree
just
with Steve.
It's a
quick-
guideline in case you have an emergency.
Yeah, it's a reference guide to open up in case something goes south, you don't have to go, what should we do? We go, oh, okay, this, and
This and
this
this and this,
is gonna happen,
right.
or should happen.
There's a format we follow, we have to, what to do.
Oh, we had a top list there.
Carla?
Are you concerned at all that the town's shelter is in between two railroad tracks?
The city shelter for the shelter, if something major happens in Surrey where you have, you're not housed people in Surrey, that shelter is in my.
Right.
The shelter for Surrey, you lose power, you lose water, this section of town, that's what that shelter is like. It's not a cure-all, and it, by all means of the railroad track, run right through the middle of town, you're limited on what you can and can't do. You know, it's just an inconvenience.
Yeah, I was just, we used to, I think, didn't list the church at one point.
I recall, yeah, I think we
It
may
was
have
on there at
one
one time.
Just, if we have to train the railroad, something wrong, just saying. So we consider for next year.
And I- yeah.
We go to Cornerstone Presbyterian.
And, you know, I'm not gonna say it's the upside, but you do have multiple ways out of Sawyer, or sorry, not Sawyer. We have Sawyer Road, we go north up on 111, go south of the drive.
as far as I'm concerned.
There is multiple escape routes.
Did you help with this, Josh? No?
So we have a motion and a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passed.
Thank you, Kelly,
Thank you.
for coming out.
Thank you.
And probably February, I will email out the county emergency operations plan. It just encompasses the whole county. It's basically a 10,000-foot view of the same thing. And I'm currently updating that now. That'll get approved by the commission probably January. You'll also probably see it February.
Nice.
Just to have that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Personnel evaluations.
So I've did that with the ladies in the office and Public Works.
Could you speak louder, please?
I love talking. So I did the personnel evaluations in with the gals in the office and Public Works. I think we got a good, because they haven't been done in quite a long time. So I think we got a good baseline of where all of the employees feel. We gave us time to also figure out or find that there wasn't good job description of what individuals are actually doing to what the paperwork says that they should be doing. Not that they're not doing their job. They are doing that and then some. On a lot of it, it's the paperwork, just like what's in the binder needs to be updated. We talked about that. I mean, personally, I think.
That's
everyone-
goals to try to work on next,
goals,
maybe.
Yeah,
Yep.
to work on. But I think it was just to get a good baseline, so everyone kind of had an idea of where they were standing, because they hadn't had evaluations done. Some employees haven't had them done at all since they've been here. So it was to get that started, just so we know where they need to, where they can improve, where, I think but for the most part, I had obviously had somebody else sitting with me to why we did this. And I don't
Thank
know.
you for coming in and taking the time to do that, for sure.
So I think we did find, obviously there's just a lot of stuff that was not done either correctly, or we haven't been able to find how it was done. If it was done correctly, we haven't been able to find a lot in the office. There's been a lot of just, it's like kind of well, when you look back at even the minutes, conversation ensued. And so, it doesn't say exactly what was done. So I think the girls in the office, the ladies in the office have been trying to pick up as much as they can, and, to clean up those areas. Like for the funds. And I don't know.
We need to address the job descriptions and kind of rewrite them, and
That's what they're working on. Well, actually, that's what they're going to be working on.
That would
'cause
be a goal,
the-
yes.
Right now, it's a goal. Right now, like they have the TIF fund that all these things that need to be done by a certain time that that takes priority over getting job description, down.
But goal would be awesome to work on job descriptions as well as like the personnel manual itself, to put any updates on that. And it's really awesome that Tiff took the time to state she'd help with that.
that's kind of an HR thing. Is that something that guys should look at, hiring somebody to do? To write us a, proper HR type manual, some job description, something like that?
Isn't that
Well, there's
pretty-
job descriptions that are in there that they approved
Tiffany, that's
5 years ago.
that's her, basically what she's doing anyways, is HR. So I mean, there's no reason they can't put that together, and,
Well, it has to be efficient, just make sure it's.
well, they're the ones that are gonna know actually what they're gonna do, and maybe this doesn't fit into the auditors or the deputy auditors, maybe it's more clerk, I would think. Between them four would be the proper.
That's kind of what we found.
Yeah, that's what what we're doing is that this is what Anita's really doing. And on this piece of paper, though, might say that this is what she's doing, all of this, but she's really doing all of this, or this, or most of this and some of that. And we have Kim that's doing some of this and some of that and
Right.
some of over here. So we're just trying to get it
Aligned better.
aligned where it's,
In the next few months, I imagine it'll be pretty good.
Yeah.
Then
That's
you'll
the
bring
goal.
it to us, I imagine, and
yes,
Anything else?
I think that's all.
Thank you. Personnel, NDRF mayor's letter and timeline. I wrote a letter to the, where did it go? There it is. To the North Dakota Insurance Reserve Fund. Keith, I believe was his name, wasn't he? And anyway, explaining some of the things. You all have the letter. I don't know if we need to read it.
I think we should.
I'm sorry,
I think you should read it.
read it.
Yep.
As mayor of the city of Surrey, I personally object to the decision of settlement on the above reference claim. This cost the city of Surrey $9,050 in accounting fees to reconcile, excuse me, to reconcile its financial accounts. Also, it's been found that funds logged and special assessment districts have been misallocated. Ms. Fuger has been gone only 6 months, and the hopes are not to find any other issues. Although I feel it is not the desired solution, I do understand your point that it is likely cheaper to pay the plaintiff than pay the costs of fighting a lawsuit. It seems likely her attorney was working on a contingent basis, knowing that he could shake down the insurance fund. Once the claim was opened, it should have been kept confidential. I deem the city has witnessed breach of confidentiality, which violates the non-disclosure clause and could constitute such an agreement to be void. Thank you for your time, Mayor Chuck Tollefson. I'm going to send this to the NERF fund. If anyone wants to sign on it with me, they're welcome to it. If not, that's fine also. I'm still going to send it.
Yes, I do. So.
It's mostly, to me, a bit of a reprimand for the insurance agent for disclosing information on a lawsuit that was under the attorney's care. And should not have been doing that. Likely, I guess if we wanted to push it, from what he said, that we could have Diane have to give her money back, and then she would have to sue whoever disclosed this information to Tara and whoever else was passing it around.
What information was passed around, I guess? I hate even talking about it. It's kind of over and done. I mean,
Yeah, it
she,
is, but
she
it's
got her
just a
stuff,
reference for
whatever.
him.
The ball was dropped. I mean, I wasn't here last meeting or whatever, but there was no information that was passed. The information, I guess, that I received was from the DERV that basically said that there was a settlement.
Okay.
As far as what that settlement was, I have no idea.
When did you receive that, Steve?
What's that?
When did you receive that?
A few days after the August meeting, whatever date that would have
I
been.
think it was
Back
August
here.
14th or 15th that was settled. The part I don't understand is I didn't hear anything about it till about a week before our last meeting, so October 1st, so the very end of September. That's just about a month and a half after this was settled.
Steve called on September 10th.
I called after the meeting that we had to basically ask how come there was no settlement or whatever.
You
I had
called who?
talked to Diane, and she said that it was done.
You called who?
The DERF,
On September 10th?
correct.
That's the
Well, what were
timeline.
you asking?
If it was done,
Well,
if she won, if we lost or whatever, because there was no information that was given out. But there was information that he gave me at that time that basically said that he had talked to Anita and that he had talked to Chuck.
But it wasn't settled till what, the 14th or 15th, right?
Whatever date it was, I have no idea when it was settled.
Yeah, I forgot that paper at home, but, I believe it was the
No,
15th.
it was signed.
My
that was August.
concern was
August, yeah.
that there was
This was-
communication
Month
September.
afterwards,
between the
I
DERF, the mayor,
after it was all
and our
done.
auditor that we weren't receiving.
The settlement was signed on August 12th,
Yeah.
which was well after, a month after you and I called.
So we should have known
After the
August
settlement.
13th then.
Yeah.
Or at the September meeting, we should have known there was a settlement.
And I didn't know until I was at the League of Cities on September 16th. Somebody brought it to my attention.
But it's,
I will be honest with you, when you guys asked in September about a rumor that had it, I professionally answered you with the idea that there was no settlement. I didn't casually say, I've been talking to the guy all summer. I could have said it that way and I didn't. And I will never apologize for being professional because that's who I am.
But you had to give him the information he was requesting, so you weren't just,
There was no settlement and I didn't know of one until I went to League of Cities in September.
And you heard
A month
about it.
after she signed.
And who did
So
you
if you're
hear it from?
accusing.
I'm not
you know-
accusing anybody of anything. The only thing I'm saying is there was communication between the DERF, you, and the mayor. And when I asked the question, if we've heard anything about the settlement or about the trial or whatever you want to call it, the answer was no.
Okay, so what would the reasoning be for them not to bring it to us on the September 1st meeting?
They didn't bring it to us. I asked
They
at that
didn't
meeting.
know.
We didn't have it.
They claimed they didn't
We all
know.
Oh,
knew
no,
the
it-
state was working on it, right?
They were working on a settlement, but it wasn't settled.
Correct.
There's
I
a
wasn't
difference.
asking if there was a settlement or whatever. The question was there information that these two had talked to the DERF about what was going on? And it was no.
No,
But
it
there was
was
no
a
settlement.
rumor had it. If
Correct,
you-
no settlement. That's not what I asked. We've already talked about it. I'm good.
Okay.
But
That's enough.
my concern was there was information going on between the three of them that we weren't entitled to.
And I'm good, except for the fact that if you guys are judging my character
No,
and my work ethics of being a liar, I need that to be straightened out because that is not who I am.
As mayor, the chief executive officer of the city, and Anita being the auditor of the city and the chief office person, we are informed about things that we don't pass out to everybody. And that includes the council people. But
all I
the-
asked,
the-
if there was some information that you'd been talking to them. The answer was
Okay.
no.
No, we had no.
That's not what I asked. I just
Well,
asked if
you
you'd been
can
talking
splice
to
it
them.
any way you
Exactly,
want.
as can you.
No.
If you don't think that was an important point with everybody on the council, you're wrong. I just wanted to know if there was some information that you've been talking to them. Yes or no? Yes,
We
thank
had,
you very much.
we
You have
had
information?
no definite,
None.
we had no
That's all you needed to
definite
say.
solution.
That's all you would have needed to say.
That's all
When
we
did-
said. We
when does
don't
this
have
become-
anything. We
I'm
didn't,
done. Go
we
on.
didn't have anything
When did
until
it become public
Anita got the
information?
report.
How long after the settlement is signed does it become public information? You can find it on the internet.
I have no
When you
idea.
guys opened the terminology of executive session to be
We had an
public,
attorney.
you opened executive to the public in September when you announced what the executive
No,
session
no,
was.
not the DERF settlement that's a public information.
The city didn't receive anything for like
No.
6
There's
weeks.
a non-disclosure claim. and How can it be
Non-disclosure
public
cannot be
information?
public.
just
I'm
'cause
gonna
they're-
say I talked to Keith Pick today. The information that he gave Steve and I was public record.
Yeah.
He had every right to give us that information. Anybody sitting at this table had the right to the same information. And I'm also
How
gonna
did
say
Tara get it then?
there was no non-disclosure. The only person under non-disclosure not to disclose anything about the settlement was Diane.
It says on the document itself that there's non-disclosure. That includes.
Of
everybody.
Diane, not from NDERF. NDERF can share the information with the city.
No, I don't agree from what I
Well,
read in
You
there
can
that
talk to Keith
anybody
Pick. I
that's
talked to him
involved.
today for half an hour.
Okay, anyway, we've had enough of that.
But this letter would have to be approved by the board to be sent, being you representing us or not?
No.
You're sending it on your own? 'Cause-
I'm sending it on my
Mayor
own.
can't send a letter on his own without getting everyone.
I would
It's not
imagine-
accurate letter.
If you
It's not
guys,
an accurate letter. This is a right to work state.
if you
No,
guys don't
no, it's
approve
not.
of
Yeah, it
sending
is.
this as a
You
board,
can
it
fire
is.
anybody for any reason. Here's the
Okay,
problem.
hey, come on.
Just wait.
So
I asked a simple question.
if you don't
Yeah.
approve of it,
So
then you
stop.
have to put
Let
it-
me ask my question for a minute, all right? Go
One at a
ahead.
time.
Thank you. Does this not have to be approved by the council to be sent if you are representing the city?
Right.
If you are representing yourself, if you feel this way on your own, fine. Cross mayor and city of Surrey off and send this letter.
And don't send it on
He's
city
the
Surrey
mayor
If
letter-
you want to send it
letterhead.
as a mayor and the city of Surrey, I think you need approval from us, the council, to send it.
He's the
I
mayor
would
of
feel
the city of
much
Surrey.
better
Okay.
if you had approval.
I
I'm
will-
signing it.
I will go through and see what information I can get as to the validity of your argument.
I could be lying, but
And
I'm
then
not,
we'll
but
go on
that's
from
okay.
that.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I do know that this settlement, once it's at some point, all of the information, and this happened before me, so please understand, this is and this is getting ridiculous again,
Yeah.
that we keep bringing this up, but this information is public knowledge. Anybody can go on, you can go on your phone right now and look it up, and you should be able to find some of this information about what was done.
I think the only thing that's not public knowledge would be the amount of the settlement.
Correct, but did anybody mention that here?
I believe
Never.
Tara already had it on,
She's got it on social media.
She had
Everyone
it
can
on
read it. The
social
state
media
of
I
after
don't
Dakota.
see
Twyla
her
told
here.
her.
I don't see her here, and I don't see her representing us. So
Well-
this,
It's not on the council.
So I would imagine Aiden is right. If you guys want this off of city letterhead,
Okay,
you would need to,
we'll go ahead and look that up and make sure. Okay, thank
Well,
you.
don't send it until we know.
I don't want
Right.
it sent on city
So the-
letterhead
So
signed by the mayor.
can't send out a letter
Nope.
in regards to anything unless we
Nope.
approve it?
Yep,
Really?
Okay,
yep.
No,
He
no.
works for the city council, not the other way around. Look it up.
moving on.
Look it up.
Complaint
thank you, Mr.
forms.
Mayor.
Where are they?
Okay.
There it is.
This is this packet.
We have a-
That's this one, that's the response to this one.
We have two complaints here, both from Councilman Dickinson against Councilman Ganser.
This cannot be discussed at a meeting. It was voted, Mr. Dickinson voted to censure me at the last meeting. The motion failed according to the ordinance, or according to the policy. It cannot be discussed or brought up again.
At that meeting, I believe.
No, ever, ever.
No, you can't be. You weren't punished for it.
Doesn't matter.
There is no punishment
Well,
for
it wasn't a
anything.
it wasn't a punishment.
I didn't do anything wrong,
Yeah, you did.
so you say.
Okay, the second one,
Yes.
Yep, it's
the
against the
second
ordinance.
one, complaint against Councilman Ganser. Oh, where is it
if
going
it's an
here?
ordinance, Chuck, I would suggest that
Mis-
you do not address
Mr.
this.
Mayor, again, I'm gonna, please,
Point
if
of
you
order?
would, if you would please.
I will-
This cannot be discussed.
Okay,
It
I'll drop
cannot.
both of my complaints.
That would be wise.
I will drop both of my complaints.
both complaints have been
Coming from you, I would
withdrawn.
care less what you thought.
Thank you. Complaint forms, mayor's report. I guess the only thing I can think of right now, the Christmas trees were delivered and placed in the pots along the entrance to Surrey.
They look nice.
They look good. They
Yep,
look really,
Get some lights on there. gonna
really
look better.
good.
Excuse me, sir, Mr. Mayor. We did not discuss the attorney resignation.
We haven't got to that. It isn't even on my thing here.
What's on new business?
Chill, dude.
Should have been the first
Oh,
part of
my
the business.
Lanta. I don't know who you think you're talking to exactly.
I'm talking.
It's
to
under
you.
new business, which we have just finished.
Okay, it's not, there's nothing written on
It was
We
added to
added
the
it to
agenda.
the
Yeah.
agenda.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at the
I
beginning of the
specifically
meeting.
remember him saying, though, he'll put it under the mayor's report. He did say that,
We're so petty.
exactly.
Getting childish. Anyway, the
Everybody's
Christmas
sitting-
trees are here, the lights are coming. We're still under budget on everything.
We received the donation from the gaming down at Devil's Fire to do all these decorations then for the holiday season.
I'm
Well, wouldn't
sorry?
that be fun? That would be fun. Wouldn't it be fun if people in town wanted to help decorate?
It'll
Maybe
all-
with an ornament?
It'll all be plugged in over the lights to Devil's Fire.
4.
Yeah, they're in the
Yeah.
pots. I haven't either.
Oh,
3 to 4
I just
footers.
drove by there, but they weren't in there at the time apparently.
I agree. I would love to see the city, everybody be able to, that was one question I had on this, is that, have you guys opened that up to, people helping out decorate these trees?
there were people, it's been just my wife and Laura both right now.
Could you, she's not here, could you ask her to like put something out to see if anybody would want to come and help? I had some people ask me about it too, 'cause a lot of people think this is a great idea, so.
Yeah, I think it's really a good idea. Oh, I can't find the attorney's stuff.
It's in the new package that she put in.
I don't think I got one. Maybe I did. Okay, last Friday at 12:55, I got an email from Mr. Schultz saying that he was going to no longer represent the city of Surrey. In his resignation letter, he says, Mayor Tollefson, I was very grateful to be offered the position in March of 2020. My objective was to help the city by offering a steady hand and sense of civility in which the public could take stock. At all times, my primary concern was that this position should be apolitical, that is, outside politics. Since there is no dispute that the sour atmosphere in city government is due to competing political factions, I had hoped to provide objectivity in my role as city attorney and to help the city conduct good government practices outside the realm of politics. However, more and more my advice has been sought in what can only be interpreted as claims to obtain legal cover for political combat. The city attorney is not a general clearinghouse for political retribution. It is, if this office is ever used in this fashion, it would destroy the foundation of American democracy. The city attorney is not an elected official, nor does it sit on the council, and has no vote in the city action. Notwithstanding attendance at council meetings and attempting to defend the city in real time, both of which were specifically requested of me during my hiring process, the city attorney has no authority to be political in his or her function. Nevertheless, I recognize that individuals have tried to use me in this way, and the public is aware of it. In order to avoid the appearance, however incorrectly formed, the city attorney is a political figure in the city. I believe it is best for the city, the citizens of Surrey, and for myself that the city start fresh with the new city attorney. Therefore, I resign with immediate effect. Thank you, council in the city, for the opportunity to do good and valuable work for the people of the city of Surrey. I sincerely admire and appreciate the dedication and service of the city employees. I wish the city and the next city attorney good luck in navigating these waters. Sincerely, Andrew Schultz. I did email him back, asking him to reconsider, and he emailed me this morning and said that that would not be an option. So now we need to have a city attorney.
How long how long of a period are we allowed to
Well,
not have one? 'Cause isn't
we
it
didn't
supposed to
have
be-
court today because we didn't have an
It's
attorney.
not good.
No, we
Yeah,
didn't have court really because we didn't have court.
We didn't have
But
court
we are
today.
going to need not only a municipal attorney, but also a defense attorney because we have court. So it's very,
We need it soon.
Andrew was a very talented man.
Yeah, I thought everything was going well. I didn't, I was really surprised by his resignation.
Yeah, I talked to him on Thursday and he wasn't happy at all.
Thursday? Oh, I haven't talked to him. Well, I talked to him, well, I emailed him on maybe Monday or Tuesday because Paco was looking for an attorney. And he emailed me back that he would have Paco call him. But other than that, I haven't talked to him for a month or two.
Steve, could you say why? Or do we know?
Yeah.
He kind of
This-
said
this
it
is
in his
what I
letter.
got.
I mean,
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty simple that we have differences of opinion up here, but we've had different council members up here still had differences of opinion. So what's his, I've talked to the man twice on the phone in a year and a half.
Yeah.
And it's been a couple months at least, 3, 4 months.
Well, either
Actually,
way,
last time he didn't call me back, so he was busy.
well, he,
it doesn't matter.
I'm not gonna speak for Andrew. I guess he just, he was done.
Yeah, he's gone. It's not,
It was
he's not
just-
coming back.
Nope.
You
Um,
mentioned democracy, and democracy is, to rule in a peaceful fashion for the people. And I know that that's what he was working for, is for the people and trying to provide equality and betterment for the community.
The mayor, according to ordinances, the mayor, with the approval of the city council, shall appoint the following officers for the city of Surrey, one being the assessor, the attorney, and the engineer. And Article 7, the duties of the attorney shall be to conduct all law business in which the city of any of its departments shall be interested, furnish written opinions when requested upon all questions submitted to him by the governing body or any of the departments of the city. Number 3, draft all ordinances, bonds, contracts, leases, conveyances, or other instruments which may be required by the officers of the city. Examine tax and assessment rolls and all proceedings in reference to the levying and collecting of city taxes. Keep a docket of all cases in which the city may be a party in any court of record in which shall be entered briefly all steps taken in such case, and such docket shall be open to the public inspection at all reasonable hours, and perform all other duties which may be prescribed by the governing body or by the ordinances of the city or the statutes of the state. And 7, conduct all cases in municipal court insofar as the city of Surrey is concerned. He shall keep himself advised of all causes and proceedings and shall expeditiously prosecute, try, settle, dismiss, or otherwise dispose thereof in any manner, and that at a time of his discretion. That's the qualifications.
How was the last attorney that hired? Did we form a committee to kind of go out and look for him, or did we just?
We did before I contacted a number of the legal firms in town, and I think we had 3 or 4 people that were interested in the job. The council chose Mr. Schultz.
I don't think most of us are up here back then.
No,
Oh, you're gonna get
I
another.
was,
well, I was, yeah.
I was.
You were out of town. We called the meeting right before you come back the night before.
Yeah. But yeah, I was out of town, yeah.
Me too.
I think we should have it in a contract of some sort, though, that we get, that they can't just resign, that we have to have a notice, like most of,
Throughout
Like-
the year or something.
if
It
you're
really
gonna,
puts us in
well,
a
no, if you're gonna
desperate spot.
resign from it, then we have to have a month's note, 4-week notice, or,
Bare
so
minimum, 2 weeks.
typically lawyers, though, if they are in, it's usually like a 4 to 6 week notice of when they're leaving. So, they don't just abruptly quit on anybody. So I would assume that his frustration level was very high.
I'm not
With all
sure.
this.
He's
But-
been sick lately too. I don't know if that's,
Yeah.
Does
He
that
wasn't
need
even
to
here
do
at the
with it?
last meeting.
But would we,
Pardon?
isn't
He
that,
wasn't
is
here at
that
the last
something we
meeting.
could get
no,
put
he
in
was
there?
working out of town.
Probably, but
I think the hardest
I
part
think
is
it's just
gonna
left us in a pickle now.
finding someone.
I was gonna.
back in the day, I mean, let's just call it 10 years ago, we contacted the attorney when we needed to contact the attorney. To have the attorney sit on a retainer and come to every meeting and spend thousands of dollars was not even heard of.
I don't think I think that's something we definitely gotta go moving forward. We don't do. Also, we go back to, like you said, but I'm very nervous about the fact that the way this letter reads and from the people I've talked to, I'm very nervous if we even find an attorney that wants to represent us at this time.
Right.
You know, we represent
And
the way we act and the way this board behaves. I don't know if anybody wants to represent us. I mean, I sat at that League of Cities meeting down there and talked to different engineer firms and talked to several of them that said they would not work with us. I mean, I'm very nervous about this, and we should all be very nervous about this.
Embarrassing.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
when we were
embarrassing
down
is
at
the word.
the League of Cities, just talking to other people from other cities, it was, oh, you're from Surrey, huh? And it's like, yeah, it
Yep.
was,
We
That
have
was
certain
embarrassing.
people that call the newspapers and make sure we're advertised very publicly.
Well,
We
we're
do-
public figures, so
Somebody had to
We should
call them too,
represent-
you know?
we represent, in the public
Sure.
eye, we are representing us. So, hopefully we can change that. That's what we need to move forward. Like I said at the last meeting, let's try to better ourselves, and move forward. And then this type of thing happens and it really doesn't show that we are. I don't know what we do moving forward, but we definitely got to make some phone calls and right away and try to find somebody who will, even if it's temporary.
So wouldn't that be the mayor's job? And Anita, they could line something up and bring it to the council for us to vote on. They
So-
gotta call a special meeting?
I'll make a motion to give the mayor the authority to seek out and appoint with the council's approval, a city attorney and a city engineer. In the meantime, we can, or set up a committee to rewrite what we want from both of these officers.
We already
we
have
need
a
all three of those
we have to
things?
pay people.
Well, if you want a part-time on-call attorney that's qualified to do all 7 of these items, I think you're out of your mind.
So what was your motion again, Jenny?
Restrictions like what?
Jenny, what was your motion?
My motion was to give the mayor the authority to seek out and appoint with our approval a new city attorney and a new city engineer. In the meantime, we will set up a committee amongst ourselves to rewrite
Have we had an engineer
what we want from
before?
them.
I don't understand how that got in the
One at a
mix.
time.
Oh, my Lanta.
Your
Why
motion
this?
was to have the mayor appoint or search out and appoint a city attorney and engineer with the
Mhm.
approval of the council.
Yes.
Now, is he bringing it to
Do we
us
have
or
a
is he
second?
hiring the person?
No, you got. we have to-
Bringing it to us with our permission.
Do we have a second?
Second,
my,
I'll second it, goes to discussion.
Brent, the second. Any discussion?
I would like to, maybe ask, one or two of us sit in on that to help you out.
Well, the interviews would be
All of us.
all of us.
We're just gonna get names.
You
Names
should-
and resumes,
And then,
normally.
and then bring that
To all of
list
us.
to us first.
Yeah.
Yep.
Last time I had, I think 3 or 4 attorneys that were interested in the job.
Okay.
And then I think Mr. Schultz was the only one that would come for an interview. The rest said, look at my resume. They weren't going to come in and be here for that.
Can I ask about the city engineer spot?
Yep, absolutely. I just think we have some major growth coming up and just judging from what I've heard about the relationship that the ladies in the office have trying to contact our actual city engineer, Brent Erickson, nearly impossible to get a hold of. And then also just the last few projects, sidewalk specifically, I'm bringing it up again, sidewalk specifically was, I don't think the best interest of Surrey was kept in mind on that. So yeah, I think it is. I mean, now do we need to hire somebody else? No, but I think 1,000% we need to seek out and see if there would be somebody out there better that will
Bring us
take care of
names.
us.
Bring us names and have a discussion about it, right?
We've had some visitors. There was one in today, Apex, Barry from Apex. He would like to speak potentially at our December meeting about Apex.
Can we,
Engineering.
can you go ahead?
I'm sorry. Oh, my.
Mike?
Council, one thing I would like you guys, when you're looking for attorneys, keep in mind is that the biggest problem we had last go around was there was a gigantic price tag attached to any attorney. So it was the only one that came in at a somewhat reasonable number. Everybody else was, as per prior to the last, any previous attorney, this is way back in 2015 when they were building, we have all the issues with Silver Spring, was $23,000. Most money we ever spent on an attorney prior to this last go around with the attorney. Okay, $23,000. We were asked to hire an attorney sight unseen for $40,000 guaranteed a year plus expenses. Just keep that in mind. That's the differences in the prices. So when you're looking at attorneys, don't get us in that deep, please. That's all I'm asking. Take a look at the money on the table. Oh, yeah. Thank you for your time.
Any further discussion?
Yep, I guess as far as the engineer thing, the reason the office is in the situation that the office is in is because we start with an auditor, they quit, Jenny goes, we have 3 other ones in that place before we actually hire somebody. You can't have complete turnover inside the office. It doesn't work. You can't have complete turnover as far as the attorney or the engineers. I mean, years ago, and I don't know where the guy was from, I think he came out of Williston. Then we had to hire Ackerman. Then we have to fire Ackerman, hire AE2S. Now they don't want to keep AE2S. They want to go back with Ackerman. And that's why we don't know where manholes are, potholes, everything else. You can't just decide that we don't like them or it didn't quite fit the budget or there was a mistake or an error made. Every engineering firm out there, it's a guess on some of this stuff. You get what you pay for. It's not as if these guys weren't professional in nature. They are. Yeah, we have some water sitting out there. We have water sitting everywhere. It's not going to go away because we hire another engineering company. I'll tell you that right now. It's not going to happen.
I know one thing with that sidewalk project, the way it was done and not level with the road, I wouldn't have voted yes for that, no way in hell.
You should have read the plans better than.
I don't know.
I've learned that just
That's
going to League of Cities and talking to the higher ups, it is good to keep engineering companies on their toes or they become complacent and you go to the back burner. So I'm not saying we hire somebody, but I don't think it's not in, I mean, it's not going to do anything bad to us to seek out somebody and get some
You
fresh
want to sit
blood.
out there as an engineer and listen to us bitch about shit constantly? Because that's what we do. We don't give them any or we don't help them at all. We just tell them, yeah, you suck.
So if
This
you
is
could
wrong
got-
and that's wrong.
Steve, if you would have got blueprint plans on that sidewalk, would you have been able to read them? and
Nope,
tell
not
them
at all.
me
I
either?
might have asked the right questions. I don't know.
But I guess I'm told that I don't know. We should have asked that. But I
Well,
guess
my-
that's why we left it up to the engineer, you know?
I mean, they did what they could do with the money that was appropriated for the funds. I mean, if you thought they were going to put 6 feet of dirt and make that sidewalk even with the road,
Yeah,
no, that wasn't happening.
then I
In
wouldn't
any
have voted
case,
for it.
next year's an election year, so you can reorganize with a new engineering firm, absolutely. If you
But
wouldn't
why
seek
would
it
you
out right
want to
now.
do that?
I don't know, I'm just saying, that's, that's.
I mean,
part
we
of your
can
reorganization.
Reorganize every other year.
Mhm.
And the next thing you know, this company doesn't want to do it, this one, because we just are the town that just fires them all after 2 years because that project that went bad.
There you go.
Could we
AJ.
just redo the motion to drop the engineer part just for now, for this motion, just so that we can get the attorney deal going
Well, you have
first?
a motion and a second on the table.
We do have, we're having the discussion right now.
I don't plan to rescind that. So, I mean, let's just vote on this one and if that doesn't work, then
We have a motion on the floor. And a second. Roll call vote. Jenny,
Yes.
Brent,
Yes.
Steve,
Nope.
Tiffany,
Yes.
Aiden,
Yes.
Twyla.
No.
Motion passed. Carla, what you want?
I'm going to reiterate what Steve Fenewald said, and I know that the motion is passed, but I have a chance to speak. One of the reasons why we're having problems with people wanting to work with our city and the reactions that you're getting at the League of Cities is because of what just happened right here. Is we're in a state, or the city is in a state, and it's obvious to the people behind the table and the people for whom you serve that you are in flux, a constant state of flux. And now we have two of the positions, or I believe it's two of the positions that the mayor can appoint, are now back up for grabs again. It is the constant pea under the coconut that you guys are moving around to try to make things better, but in the process, it's getting worse or it's staying stagnant. Deal with one issue at a time. Deal with the lawyer and then deal with the engineer, one thing at a time. I was here when we had to let Ackerman go, and it was for nearly the same things that we're talking about right now. If the office is having a problem getting in touch with them, have they asked the mayor to reach out? Or are we just saying that that's the reason that we're going to use to replace an engineer?
No,
It's
I said
very-
that reason.
I'm speaking, thank you. It is short-sighted for you to put this out there without starting where you would do it professionally, which is a telephone call to our vendor. They are a vendor. Pick up the phone and call them and tell them you are unhappy with their service. Ask them for what you want. That's what I do for my children. Thank you.
I will say that when we sat down with AE2, that is exactly what he asked us. If we have problems, if we have concerns, to contact him, and he'd come and talk to us. So if we're not, but I do know there was also some change in personnel. One of the people is no longer coming to service
Right,
us. Somebody
Brent-
else is coming. So I
Brent
mean,
can't make it.
if there's, I voted yes, just simply because I want this attorney part taken care of. If we want, and if you want to talk to other engineers, fine. I don't mind shopping around a little bit. Doesn't mean we're doing anything about it.
Exactly.
But,
Yes.
and I'm,
AJ?
Who are we calling?
don't go ahead.
In the meantime,
That has nothing to do with the city of Surrey. Our engineer is Brent Erickson and his direct supervisor is Jasper Klein. So none of that, nobody has, when's the last time that any of them showed
Carla?
up at a meeting?
Carla, she has the
It
floor.
doesn't matter. Where's the customer service? We deserve that. They're being paid every month a very generous amount of money. What, go ahead.
Carla, quiet. Don't. AJ,
so as somebody who deals with the engineers on a pretty regular basis, the sidewalk job was started by a guy by the name of Trevor, who's in Minnesota. And I asked Trevor's blessing to use Jason Strand as a liaison, because Jason is local to Surrey, has vested interest in Surrey, and Trevor was fine with that. Kim and I talked about a while back, with the growth in Silver Springs, Jason's background is in groundwork and streets, turning gutters, so on and so forth. And we kicked around the idea of trying to get Jason, yet again, as a local with vested interest, to be our local engineer instead of a guy that's in Bismarck, which would be Brent Erickson. So there is that possibility that maybe we could go from somebody in Bismarck 2 hours away to somebody who has vested interest. That anytime I call, either I get a text, hey, I'm in a meeting, I'll call you right back, or whatever. Jason always picks up the phone, and he's always right here to answer any questions I have. And I've even talked to him off the books and said, hey, this is going on as a concerned citizen and as an engineer and as a friend. What would you think about doing this? And he has been very helpful.
That's a good possibility also.
Say again, please.
I think that's a good possibility also. I don't think it's bad to shop around. Doesn't mean that you're committing to anything. Also, just reaching out to Jason here in Jason Strand, I think that's a good option also.
Well, I think we need to communicate to the, engineering firm that we're not happy with their service. There needs to be a conversation.
That was,
They did hear it
that was what we talked about at,
at the League of Cities.
and that was, again, I forgot the gentleman's name now, but again, if we don't contact him, he won't, he's just not gonna walk in the door to the meeting and sit here and talk to you how things are going. He wants to be called and talked to and asked. So that question about having Jason do that, you need to contact their boss and ask him. Bring him, invite him, have a conversation with him, but we're not doing that.
I did talk with Jason, up on the road project up here, and he said is it Tom that's here now?
Tom, yes, Tom LeBrand, and he is more of a surveyor.
Yeah, but it's Jason and Tom that are gonna be the Minot or Surrey people. They won't be coming out of Bismarck anymore. So it's all gonna be sort of local.
Yep, and there are tons of engineering companies that are local out of Minot. I'm just saying, let's keep our options open. That's all I'm saying. You become complacent again, or the engineering company does, and you lose your customer service.
Sounds good. We'll do that. Community FYI, okay. Community event, car show, Halloween parade, and Rose Week, and Santa Days. Anita, would you care to enlighten us on those?
Right. Because not only numbers, I love events. And that's just kind of what I feel I can bring to the community. The Surrey Car Show was amazing. When they parked that crane over here and hung that flag up in the middle of our town, that was really awesome to see if you guys didn't see it. The parade, like Kevin said, it was so much fun yesterday with the kids. Rose Week, we're gonna offer roses for $10 a dozen. They'll be here on November 10th, next Wednesday.
The roses will be?
Yep. So if you want to purchase a dozen roses for $10 and donate 2 cans of food for Thanksgiving baskets, we would love to see you guys do that, or anybody out. Help me pass the word around town, please.
Shelby has a couple at school already.
Awesome. And then I'm gonna just call out that I'm gonna go over to Devil's Fire on Friday night, 7:00, and maybe see if anybody will join me with ideas on how to look forward to our holidays, whether we have a Santa Days, whether other people bring ideas in for whatever they want to do. I just figure I'd go over there and see if there's any interest. If you want to send people over there, send them my way. That would be amazing. Not going to put any Facebook post out there or anything like that. I know I'm just reaching out my own personal way, and if you guys want to help me share that, that'd be great.
This Friday?
Yep.
7.
Yep.
The school's willing to help with anything for Christmas or Thanksgiving baskets for our community. So I had called and talked to Nita about that.
Okay.
May I interrupt?
No, I mean, it is disheartening working here and understanding some of the tension that builds. But, to do good things for our community, that's what I feel I can try to bring and try to lead up. I've had experience in it. I love it. I will direct anybody on what to do, or if they have ideas, please bring them, because we can always coordinate things and do great things. You want a tree out here? Let's do it. Let's do it. You just need willing people ready and able to do it. So I can't do it myself, though.
Anita,
Yes.
the funds for the Santa Days, and the Christmas gifts and food baskets. Is there any funds?
As of now, there is not.
Not funds.
In the past, we took money out of our pockets, bought supplies, and kind of hoped that people would donate. If we get money off the roses, it will establish kind of a little bit of a base. Twyla mentioned a jeans fund from the school, maybe willing to donate a little bit of money.
Mhm.
But right now, we don't have any money to start with. But that's why I'll just shout out there. I'm gonna go sit over there and see if anybody's willing to help me figure it out.
How do you
Would-
get the needs for the family? Do you guys just kind of come together and talk about that?
Privacy is huge, so
I
you
know.
don't get names. Honey, the Turkey Federation wants to donate 10 turkeys. And so
That's expensive part.
we'd have 10 baskets, hopefully, to put together.
Liz is also doing that too.
Who is?
The gas station, Carmen.
Okay.
They're also wanting to help put together so that maybe,
Are they doing their own? The 2 years ago, they did their own.
it's their own. Yeah.
Okay. So that's great, though, that more things are going out in our community sometimes,
Yeah.
I mean, helping people in need is great. It's a great field to do that. So county coordinators, last year I gave 5 baskets to the school. Whoever at the school found the families, that was amazing. I don't need to know their
Our homeless
names.
coordinator does that.
Yeah, I don't need to know names. Just
We don't know the names. We just set them outside and called them and told them to come and pick them up.
great.
So it was
So-
all anonymous.
If you
Does-
guys, if you want to help, you want to send people my way, you want to sign up for roses over there, that'd be amazing.
If we had ornaments, we know we can donate to the street and just bring them up here.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I'm not
Carla?
gonna turn anything away.
You're getting exercise back and
I
forth.
want to get on so people who are here. I know that the chief.
Well, thanks a lot. I just want to, I know that the chief had said this as well, but I want to say it too from Hope Lutheran Church. Thank you to Anita for coordinating the parade for costumes for Trunk or Treat. At the church, the cars ran out of candy before the evening was even over. We were completely out. We figured we probably had somewhere around 350 kids walk through. Yeah. The turnout was incredible, and the police presence and the fire department presence around town. That I was driving around town because my daughter is still trick-or-treating age, and it was amazing to watch this community of young people that we have that felt safe enough. We have families from Minot who come out to Surrey because they feel that their children are more safe on the streets here. And that speaks a lot to our fire department, our police department, the people sitting in this room and behind the table. That is the sort of thing that I think I'm always really proud of. And Anita, that's the 2nd or 3rd year for the costume parade. And the fact that we had to shut off streets was really awesome. It was really good to see. So thank you very much, Anita. I appreciate it. And so does the church.
Thank you, Anita.
Thanks, Anita.
Hey,
Thank you, Anita.
That's awesome.
Back to money.
It's not all about the money, but it
it's
is
all
comes
about
down
the-
to the money.
It's all about the
You know what?
Benjamins.
You just kind of pray and hope for the best, right? You hope that
Would,
people come
uh,
through with the money.
Right.
Would anyone on the council be interested in donating their month's pay
Oh, geez.
for the fund?
I will, you can put mine down.
No,
I
just
I
figure
did.
out if you got services to donate, let me know, okay?
Chuck's got 7 weeks.
Can we just write a check to the city? How would we do it?
No.
Who would we write a check to?
To the city.
To the city?
Yeah.
Is there a fund set up or is there something set up so where we can?
There's a holiday giving fund.
Perfect.
Yes, right now there's a zero balance.
Yeah, people will do it.
Can you do?
If you guys want me to do that, I mean, or want us
Absolutely.
to do that in the office, we can put
And that-
something out, looking forward to the holidays. If you'd like to donate, please.
There are a lot of people that don't want to donate time or don't want to decorate or pack food baskets, but they will give money.
We all have
Absolutely.
different resources.
Yeah, you'll
Yeah.
get a
On
lot
there
of.
For donating money on the city stuff, didn't we kind of go into this before and got, can you? I don't know.
We're not doing a GoFundMe page. We're just asking for donations for one specific or two specific items, like Christmas baskets and Thanksgiving baskets.
Or maybe it's the also so it's not coming from.
I don't know, I just wonder.
Well,
You know,
we're not
just put it on-
soliciting funds. We're just asking people to donate.
Yeah,
We're not
just-
soliciting. Right.
Okay.
All it is just public information. That's what it is.
Last item on the pile is, Tara Knipp wants me to resign. I don't know if you all got this.
I don't believe so.
No.
Oh, this is the one.
I don't
That's
even
one
have it.
you got.
This is the
Tara
one
gave
that
me
came
the other
off of-
stuff. Yeah.
Came off of the, internet or Facebook or somebody like that. Anyway, she wants me to resign, so.
I'm sure she wants. me to
Anything
resign
else?
too.
I don't want you to resign, but there is a resignation letter here from her, so I'll make a motion to accept her resignation from the ordinance and Prairie Dog Fund committees.
I
I
second
didn't see that. I'd like to see the letter first.
That's the letter that I brought in for everybody. It's like a little packet of stuff, right? That's what you're, yes. She called me the other day. She's sick. She can't come in or whatever. She wanted me to read this thing, and then she gave me a bunch of stuff with the ordinances or whatever. That if you wanted to go through that, I need and give them to whoever the ordinance committee
I
people
don't know
are.
what we're looking at here.
We need to step it up. This is about a 3-hour meeting. So-
Yeah, I don't even want to, I'm going to read it just because I told her I would. Surrey City Council, I have 10 copies of all the work I did, a huge binder with all city council minutes from the past 5 years, and one binder with all city ordinances from the original ordinance committee. I have told the mayor 3 times about them. Anita twice, Kim once, and Heather Thorson knows about them as well. All the work has been done for almost a year. I was so sick for so long that I had forgotten about it. Even as sick as I was, I contacted Elaine, must be Elaine Christensen, when I saw a meeting that was off the committee. Below is the text from March 4th, less than a month of getting out of the hospital. What is I doing here? Yeah. This is when I first contacted Chuck about the work that was finished. I was put on the agenda to talk to council about it. I was too scared of COVID-19 and so sick to go, so I called Chuck and asked if I could address council over the phone. He told me no. If I want to speak, I had to be there in person. This was the second time I told Chuck about the work. The third time was during the September meeting. If you watch the video, you'll see Chuck's phone ring during the meeting while they were talking about all the work that needed to be done. I was watching from home, too sick to attend, and I was upset because Chuck wasn't telling them about all of the work that had been done by the existing committee. I left him another message about the files, and if he wanted them, I'd be happy to give it to the city. Those must be the ones that I gave you. Again, he ignored me. I contacted Kim at the city when she was made the head of the committee in September and told her everything I had. She said she would love to have them. I offered them to Heather, but decided I wanted to give them to Steve so that the council could be shown the work that was done. I would like the record crystal clear that the original committee did meet, did set up a plan, and had much of the work finished. It was only being hidden by Anita and the mayor. I mention this because Councilman Dickinson made such a scene at the last council meeting about them magically appearing. No magic, just the city auditor and mayor's refusal to come forward with the information they had. I will step down from the committee as the mayor has made it clear that Laura Volk and Heather Thorson wouldn't be on the committee if I was on there. Now the mayor's wife can have who she wants on the committee. This is why the mayor has been trying to get me off the committee the council appointed me to. Good luck to council, Tara Knupp.
The part that I know is after our last meeting, I went in the office and I asked Kim, she had not received any ordinance of anything from anybody.
I don't know.
After
It's all there
October.
now.
Right, it's here now.
Yeah.
But that's what if they met, it's great. And apparently they did. If they figured a bunch of stuff out, but you know, we've sat here for 1 year and none of us knew about it.
That states right here.
She doesn't say that Kim
It
had the
states-
ordinance. She said that she had a conversation with her that the work had been done. It doesn't state
Right.
that she had the ordinance book.
But that was my complaint, Twyla, towards you, is you said that Kim had them. And I'm like, okay, this should be simple. If we either have them or we don't, let's just fix it.
Correct. That's why whoever's on the committee now, there's books of stuff there, and
And it's
I
all a
think there's
mess.
some stuff in these
No,
pamphlets.
it's not
or
a
the-
mess.
yeah.
It's all
This
done.
Stuff here.
And so
It's
what
that-
would have I
yes.
been hiding?
she's not here to defend herself. We have no idea. It doesn't
But
matter.
it's always
Okay.
pointing jabs.
It
at
doesn't matter. It
certain
doesn't
people.
matter. That's the problem. It doesn't matter.
Sickening.
It
Okay.
just doesn't matter.
Motion to adjourn.
I make a motion.
On the table.
What was the motion, Jeff?
I made a motion to
Accept the
accept her
resignation.
resignation. She has it in
Oh,
here that,
except, didn't we vote on that?
No.
And I
No.
second it.
Okay.
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
I'll make a motion to
passes.
adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn. I make 10 of them.
Crazy,
She just did.
crazy, man.